Now, okay, here we go.
Friday night, we're off to the races. Come and see familiar faces. Uncle Meat, Rob Daniels, Josh Snow. Gimmy's here, it's the place to go. Grab a star of rock with Mike and Len, Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Keyboard's here, it's time for a party. And Chris has got the comment started. Grab a star of rock with Mike and the Man, Metal Man. Grab a star of rock and hold on tight as hard as you can. Grab a star of rock. Grab a star of rock.
Welcome to Grab a Stack of Rock, a special episode of Grab a Stack of Rock with an old friend of mine, Len Labelle. I welcome Len to the show for the first time.
Yes, thanks for having me, Mike. I love your show, and I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
All right, and the check is in the mail. But I've known you a long time, although we went to high school together, although we didn't really know each other in high school. We were in the same circles.
Yeah, I remember you standing around with the Kiss Crazy Nights album, showing all your friends when it first released. You're a couple years younger than me, I believe.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. But we knew a lot of the same rocker guys, and we were listening to all the same music. And
Oh, yeah.
turns out we
That's
both
the
like this
greatest
band, Brighton Rock, from Niagara Falls.
Yes, love them.
Now, do you have a complete collection as complete as mine?
Yes,
All
there's
right.
not much complete, but
We shall go through the catalog album by album and talk about favorite tracks, favorite memories, music videos. I've got some interview clips to run. But basically, this is a band from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And they were made up of the founding members, Gerry McGhee, the lead vocalist, pictured here, Stevie Skreebs on bass, Greg Fraser on guitar. They added on, I believe his name was Martin Victor on keyboards, and Mark Cavarzan. I hope I said that right. Mark Cavarzan on drums. 5-piece band with a keyboard player, hard rock. They came out with a song called Breaking Down the Barricades that was featured on a 1984 Q107 homegrown compilation. Their name at that point was actually Heart Attack. They weren't Brighton Rock yet, but Breaking Down the Barricade is on this, their first EP. I don't know if it's the same version or not, but we both have the first EP. What are your first memories of Brighton Rock growing
first
up?
memory was they played We Came to Rock on MuchMusic. It was a premiere video, and ever since that, I was hooked.
That was a high production video. They had like women playing violins in the video, and what I remember about that video was the guitar player Greg Fraser was like standing on a platform, like on a crane, and he would be like moving around the set as he's playing this guitar solo.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Now that song "We Came to Rock" is not on here.
Nope.
But we do have 4 tracks: "Young, Wild, and Free," "Assault Attack," "Barricade," and "The Fool's Waltz," which is only on this EP.
Yep. Not too fond of that track, but
no.
And I think these songs they sound demo-ish to me.
Very much so. And I do wonder if that is the same version of Barricade, but until I track down a copy of that record, we won't know.
Yeah.
This opened before, but it was never issued on CD.
Nope.
Cassette I had, and now vinyl, but never CD.
Can't go around with it. Love it.
No. But it opened the door, and We Came to Rock was the music video.
Yep.
Now here's the album Young, Wild, and Free. This was released on WIA in Canada, Warner. Now, I got to be honest with you. I think that one of the things that was holding this band back was image.
Oh,
It's really like I don't
No.
think they were even that cool back then. Stevie Skreebs with only one chap leg on. Greg's printed trousers. Mark's,
I loved those pants when
or
I
those
was
are
younger.
Mark's trousers. You do?
I did, yes.
Okay. Anyway, this album I think is not done justice by its cover. It's
Oh.
heavier than you would expect
Oh, yes, yes.
by that, you know. Produced by Michael Wagner,
Yep.
and this had a new keyboard player. Johnny Rogers was in on keyboards now.
Awesome. In the back is hang on, where is it here?
The vinyl's much cooler.
Yeah.
Look at that. I love that picture. It's like the one guy just like kind of looking off to the side, like, hey, what's over there? Jerry's staring up.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't think that the image did them any help.
Yeah.
The music video though was good and it was memorable.
I love every song on this album.
I do as well. And my story about this is when I got the album from Columbia House in like 1989, I brought it to school one day in my Walkman and I played it for one of my friends in class, Dinesh, and he was into hard rock and everything. And I wanted him to hear this guy scream, Gerry McGhee. I wanted him to scream. So I played him the song, The Rock and Roll Kid, the closing song. And as you know, that song is just like massive screamage. Impressive, serious screamage. And Dinesh was like, took off the headphones. I don't like this. It was almost like a physical reaction to the music. The extreme screaming is part of the appeal to me.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, I don't think there's anybody that sounded like Gerry McGhee.
Oh, he's so distinctive, his voice.
Second single was the ballad "Can't Wait for the Night." Another music video. I don't know. Didn't really strike me as the first one did, but they had a ballad. You had to try. I don't really think it did much action on the charts. The album went to number 82 in Canada and was certified gold in 1989, which was a good solid 3 years after its release. It took 3 years to go gold, but it did. Then we get on to the second album.
It's the second album.
The second album. Take a Deep Breath. With cover art by Hugh Syme.
Yes. Very Rush looking.
Very Rush looking. Perhaps it was considered for a Rush album at some point, but this album was kind of a change of pace, I think. I believe the record company pressure to perform on the charts was starting to get to them, and Gerry complained in hindsight that he wasn't screaming on this album.
Right.
And he's right. He's singing more than screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of keyboards, a few more ballads. But gotta tell you, man, this is my favorite Brighton Rock album.
Yeah, I would agree.
Really?
Once again, every song is good.
Every song is good.
Everyone.
Yep.
Even the single "One More Try," which is kind of their poppy, rocky thing, still good.
They received a lot of airplay with that song.
Yep.
And it was one of those music videos that featured, you had to have a beautiful woman in the music videos back then. But it was classy. It was done really classy, and it received a lot of love on MuchMusic. One More Try.
Yes.
But Gerry McGhee said in hindsight, why did I go on the Pepsi Power Hour and come on with our ballad "One More Try"? And he seemed to kind of trash this album in hindsight as being too soft and too pop. He seemed to really not like the song "Ride the Rainbow," which is easily the most pop song on the album.
Oh, yes.
But it's got darker material too, like "Outlaw" is kind of on the dark side. Power Overload's got a good punch to it.
Yep.
As far as ballads go, "Love Slips Away" is a really good deep cut ballad.
Now, I can't remember. Does the CD have a bonus track not on the vinyl? Who's Fooling Who or something? Or the cassette?
Who's Fooling Who is another great one. It's on the dark side. My vinyl is still sealed, by the way.
Oh,
and look at that price.
Nice.
A&A Records and Tapes. Only $8.97. And you can see, the sale price is a full 2 cents cheaper than the sticker price. Who's Fooling Who is, you're right, man. It's not on the vinyl.
Oh.
And it is on the CD.
Yeah.
Wow. I actually didn't know that before.
Oh, well, there you go.
Len Labelle, on his very first appearance at Grab a Stack of Rock, has educated LeBrain. We're off to a good start, folks. Okay, so there you go. CD bonus track was Who's Foolin' Who? A great, again, slightly dark ballad. Well, not really a ballad, is it? How would you describe it? It's
It's
mid-tempo rock.
yeah, mid.
Yeah.
Say mid-tempo.
Rebels with a Cause is another great song. And the last song, Unleash the Rage, is the heaviest tune on the album and just great.
Yes.
Great stuff.
It's awesome. Great stuff. That was
Now, what's that?
88, right?
This is 88, yeah. You know, my strongest memories of this are just seeing those music videos on Much all the freaking time.
Yep.
Now, you had a close encounter with Brighton Rock at the stage.
Right around this time. I was pumping gas and car pulled up full of these long-haired dudes, and out comes Stevie Skreebs. I ran up to him, got his autograph, and he signed it for me. He was on his way to Guelph. He was asking for directions.
Were they playing in Guelph that day or something like that?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And it was just Stevie?
And some other guys, probably road crew or something.
Not the band, though.
No.
He was traveling separate. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The second music video and single was this track I have a rare promo of, Hangin' High and Dry.
Oh, cool.
This has 4 versions of Hangin' High and Dry.
Oh, really?
The album version, the video mix, which was slightly different, the single remix, and the single edit.
Wow.
So this is the Hangin' High and Dry single, the second video, and what were your impressions of this song when it came out?
I wouldn't have released it as a single. It's not up there, but it's still a good track.
And, you know, again, if they wanted to be a heavy metal band, this wasn't the kind of single you release. This is a much more pop rock single. They could have released something heavier like Unleash the Rage or
for sure,
whatever.
Yep.
Or Can't Stop the Earth from Shaking would have been a great single.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, they did a music video, as I said, and had a lot of live footage. But here's something that you folks at home might not know. And to my knowledge, this has never come out. But apparently, Brighton Rock had a VHS music home video that was going to be released. And I have the proof. You want to see?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's an interview that Michael Williams conducted with Brighton Rock in 1988.
Actually, there's 2 versions of this video. Yeah, like I told you, we took the cameraman on the road with us.
Right.
And about 99% of the stuff that he filmed, we had to edit out of the video.
It was really
X-rated. It was X-rated, yeah. Like we went to strip clubs and we started filming stuff, you know, this and that. And none of it would get on TV.
Made it onto the video.
Maybe sometime in the near future you might see it on the black market.
Well, you can come down to his house and we'll show you
Okay,
there.
Party, Steve's house, video, right there, right. You take a deep breath, X-rated version.
Triple X.
Triple X.
Yeah.
In fact, it's going to be for a home video that's done at the end of this whole world tour. We're going to be doing a home video through all our fan club. And we're going to throw on some of the shots of some of the girls that are probably fan club members.
Yeah.
They acted like fans when they seen them and touched them, so we'll have to find out.
The 80s. Anyway, that VHS never came out. There's no evidence that it ever came out anyway. If anybody knows anything about this VHS, please leave a comment. Let us know.
Please.
Not because of the girls, though, because of the live footage. Anyway, the album did okay. It went to number 22. The singles, One More Try, Hangin' High and Dry, and Can't Stop the Earth from Shaking, which did not have a video, went to 38, 77, and 65, respectively. So not the kind of performance they'd hoped for in terms of singles. The band were able to tour the UK for the first time, though. Now, at this point, we both know change was afoot. And there was a general trend in rock music that keyboards were becoming less trendy. Bands were letting their hair kind of come down a bit more. And they were toughening up their sounds a bit. You know, for example, we have George Lynch coming out of Dokken and doing the much tougher sounding Lynch Mob, much heavier. we had other bands that were kind of dropping the keyboards and adding more lead guitar, Winger being one of them. Brighton Rock did that before Winger. Their keyboard player, Johnny Rogers, was either quit, was dismissed, whatever. They didn't feel like they needed those keyboards anymore, and instead they added a second touring guitar player, whose name was, I'm just looking here, Greg Bialu. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Greg Bialu, who was in Gerry McGhee's first band, The Rockers. And then, as you know, Brighton Rock went to California and wrote and recorded their third album, Love Machine. Now, this was a change of sound. For the first time, they'd really drastically changed their sound. What did you think when you heard this Hollywood Shuffle for the first time on MuchMusic?
I loved it.
You loved it.
What a change.
It was.
Never released on vinyl, I believe.
You're probably right about that.
Unfortunately.
I believe we had stopped printing vinyl in Canada at that point.
Yeah. Hollywood Shuffle was what a change for me. It had this funky little groove to it. It was
that lick was very tricky. The Greg Fraser lick that opens Hollywood Shuffle is very tricky, and I would say it's kind of Van Halen-ish. Would you agree? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a clip of this band talking about this song, Hollywood Shuffle. Now, this is from another Pepsi Power Hour where they appeared with Dwayne Ward of the Toronto Blue Jays, because I believe Dwayne Ward and some of the other Jays sang backing vocals on this album. But here's a clip of them talking Hollywood Shuffle with Greg Fraser and Gerry McGhee.
Let me talk about this for a second. Your first video from this new album is called Hollywood Shuffle.
Yep.
To me, that's an attempt to break into the American market blatantly. There's nothing wrong with that. Is that true?
Well, we wrote this whole album in California, so it's the first time that we've ever wrote a record outside of Canada. So it was a whole different feel in Los Angeles. It always has been. It's entertainment. It's
the song itself was actually written on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah,
you can't get any more Hollywood than that. I mean,
and it was just the whole vibe coming from the street, from Sunset, from Hollywood. And Fraser came up with the riff and came in and said, "Look, this one should be called Hollywood Shuffle." And I was like, "Yeah." So
these guys were down on Hollywood and Vine having a good time. That's what they were doing.
Don't
say that out there. Don't say, you're gonna get us in trouble, man. Come on now.
Yeah, but we're not really making a blatant attempt. It was just something that we have always looked at it as if we're reporters. You know what I mean? Whatever we go through on the road or what we go through in our personal lives, our way of expressing it is through a song.
There you go. Unfortunately, going to the States, recording an album, Toby Wright produced it, who later went on to do Alice in Chains and Kiss. It didn't work out. Hollywood Shuffle didn't have much impact at all. It was the tides had changed by that point. We were hearing Temple of the Dog. We were hearing this new band called Nirvana, Soundgarden. And it was, and here they are on the front cover and, open shirted. It already looked outdated before it came out,
Oh, exactly.
And that's unfortunate. Again, I don't think Image did this band any good, my opinion. I have the version with the bonus track, Gangbang, and I don't think you have that one, do you?
I do not. No.
Okay. So we have two different versions of the album here. I believe Len's is first pressing, but they look very similar.
Yes.
Gangbang is the bonus track, which I believe was intended for the U.S. market, but I don't think this ever got a U.S. release. I may be wrong. It's a great party track. It's a total joke track. You can see why it got left out, but the album is stronger for it. I have no problem with including a joke track at the end. That's kind of like
no, nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope.
Some of the standouts are Bulletproof. That's got another great guitar part, really heavy.
Oh, Night Stalker.
And the ballad, Magic is Back. Great stuff. They weren't afraid to still do ballads, but they weren't as keyboardy as Soft. They were a little tougher.
Correct. I believe they have a video for that too. Magic is Back.
If so, I've never seen it. That would be a rarity, I'm sure. It's a real shame, but unfortunately, this album did not do them any favors. And although, it's funny, I'm reading here on my notes that just before this album was released, Brighton Rock was nominated for Most Promising Group of the Year at the Junos in 1990. 1990 of all years. I don't know if that's an accurate note. That's Wikipedia. We all know how Wikipedia is. But by the time this came out in summer of 91, it was just too late, unfortunately. Now, I got to be honest with you. I preferred their sound with keyboards rather than this version of the band, but
Yes, I
we
agree
all
there.
have. A lot of people love this album.
Oh.
Now, as you know, they broke up.
Yep.
That was the end. It was not sustainable. They'd been at it for 3 albums. They'd been at it for a number of years, since '84, and they went their separate ways. Do you remember what Gerry McGhee did next, or attempted to do next?
No, I don't actually. I know what
an American band that were in need of a lead singer in 1992. Motley Crue.
I'm sorry?
Motley Crue. Gerry McGhee auditioned for Motley Crue in 90.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, and that, man, you know, as much as I love the Karabi album, gotta wonder what a screamer like Gerry McGhee could have done with some of those Motley songs. It gives me chills thinking about it.
Oh, he could pull it off.
He could have pulled it off. You know, in an alternate universe, perhaps that happened. But yeah, he went on to Motley Crue. Greg Fraser went on to Helix, if you remember. He was not on the album, but he was in the band for the Business Doing Pleasure era. And he did a MuchMusic live performance with Brian Vollmer in the studios.
Yeah.
And other than that, there wasn't much else going on.
Greg Fraser and Stevie Skreebs had a band together as well.
Phrase Gang. Yes, a bit later on. Yes. Yeah. Gerry McGhee, in the meantime, founded Isotope Records. Do you remember Isotope Records? Well, I mean, they're still around. Funnily enough, my sister's album, Masked, Isotope Records pressed the vinyl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they manufactured vinyl here in Southern Ontario. They were early in the manufacturing vinyl game, way before this new surge of vinyl happened. They were ahead of the game. That was what Gerry McGhee did. He became a CEO of Isotope Records, I guess.
So cool.
But the band did do a reunion, as you know. And a live album. This one you don't have. Room for 5 live. Now, when you sing like Gerry McGhee, you cannot sustain that voice forever. That's just human nature. We all age. I used to be able to sing the high parts and staying alive, but I sure can't anymore. So, you know, this is just something that happens. And in 2000, and I believe it's 2006, they did a reunion. Oh, no, this is earlier. This is 2002. Regrouped in 2001.
Okay.
And did this live album in 2002. The voice has changed, but it's still Brighton Rock. They had Johnny Rogers back on keyboards and also adding live guitars.
Yeah.
The set list here is pretty cool. They open with Bulletproof, going
Nice.
Wild and Free, breaking down the barricades. Nothing to Lose. I don't know. Is that one from what is that song?
Nothing.
It's on this. Okay.
Okay.
One More Try, Hanging High and Dry, Outlaw, Hollywood Shuffle, Night Stalker, Love Machine, Rebels with Cause, Power Overload, Can't Wait for the Night, and closing with The Rock and Roll Kid. And almost all of those are songs that we've just recently praised.
Yeah. Perfect set list.
Yeah, very much so. Now, the next release that I have for Brighton Rock is another one I don't think you have. World with Heroes. No. Okay. So this is rare now. This was put out by Mitch Lafon, rock journalist Mitch Lafon.
Yes.
Good guy. And I ended up buying, I think, 3 copies of this from him so I could give some to friends. This is chock full of goodies, man. But they did Creatures of the Night. And you've heard it. Oh. Your thoughts on their cover of Creatures of the Night.
Oh, they made the song their own. They changed it and made it their own. And it sounds so it's beautiful what they did with that.
It is. It's beautiful. It's dark.
Yep.
It's a ballad. I'll tell you that, folks. It's a ballad, and there's a music video. You can look it up on MuchMusic. On MuchMusic. On YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube. And if you can find a copy of this, it's out of print. Mitch doesn't have any left. If you can find a copy of this, get it. I am not kidding. This has so many people on it.
Is that a double?
This is a double, plus there was a follow-up EP, and also there were, I believe, 4 iTunes bonus tracks or download-only bonus tracks, including Crash Kelly. But this has unreleased Peter Criss stuff on it. This has here. Hang on, we'll just take a minute here to do a detour and talk about who's on this CD besides just Brighton Rock. This has Psycho Circus, performed by Phil Narrow, the late great Phil Narrow. Spit, Mark Tornillo from Accept. Deuce, performed by Russ Dwarf with John Regan, Kevin Valentine, and Bill Leverty. John Regan was in Fraley's Comet. Kevin Valentine played drums on Psycho Circus. There's so many Kiss connections on every track here. There's a version of Sure Know Something here that I don't know the artist. Detroit Rock City with Bumblefoot, Rex from Pantera, and Brian Tichy. Eyes of Love is an Eric Carr demo. It's on Rockology.
Yep.
Shout Mercy. This is a Paul Stanley, Tommy Thayer song from Monster. This is covered by Jeff Parris, Troy Laketta, Eric Brittingham, and the late, great Jeff LaBar from Cinderella. Wow. Creatures of the Night by Brighton Rock. Larger Than Life by Rex again, Brian Tichy, and Mark Zavon. Cold Gin, Don Dokken.
Yeah.
Don Dokken doing Cold Gin. Little Caesar. Guess who sings Little Caesar? Ron Young from Little Caesar.
Oh.
Hard Luck Woman, Chris Van Dahl, Stacey Blades, and Adam Hamilton. They're all LA Guns alumni. Mitch LaFon released an LA Guns EP, I believe, in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Outer Space was originally not an Ace Frehley song. It was done by a band called Shred Mill. The original version of Outer Space by Ace Frehley is on here. Paul Stanley, Goodbye by Bob Kulick and Impera. See You Tonight. I don't know this guy, Todd Farhood, but See You Tonight's a great solo song by Gene Simmons. Grand piano version of Beth by Michael Lardy of Great White. Tomorrow by a band called Dressed to Chill. Anything for My Baby by a band called Slaves on Dope. Unholy. I don't know these guys. Fred Duvall. Oh, Mark Slaughter is on that. And Russ Dwarf. Breakout by the Comet Band, basically. Todd Howarth, John Regan with Kevin Valentine on drums. Rock and Roll Hell by Keel, Ron Keel with the Cinderella guys and Troy Laketta again. Nowhere to Run, which is one of my favorite songs from Killers. There's Phil Narrow again. The Oath by Rick Hughes of Sword. Remember Sword?
Oh, yes. Sure.
The Oath. A rare Elder cover. Yeah. Master and Slave. Adam Hamilton, Scott Griffin, Stacey Blades, and Phil Lewis. That's all of LA Guns guys. Calling Dr. Love by a band called Burning Rain, which had Keith St. John, Doug Aldrich, Sean McNabb, and Matt Starr. You know all these names. I know you do.
Oh, yeah, Burning Rain. Yeah.
I Stole Your Love by SUN. Sass Jordan. Jordan, Brian Thomas, Tichy.
That's SUN, Something Unto Nothing, right? I believe.
You got it.
Yeah.
Reason to Live by Honeymoon Suite with Firehouse. It's like half of each band. Johnny D, lead vocals. Derry Grehan, guitar.
That's cool.
Forever, Terry Ilius. Did I say that right?
Oh, from XYZ.
Yep. Sean Kelly. Sword and Stone, live in Vakken by Bonfire. You know that they covered Sword and Stone from, I think, the Shocker soundtrack. God of Thunder by American Dog. I don't know them. She by Razor, but not Razor. Razor with an E. New York Groove by Slaves on Dope again. Magic Touch, Jim Crean and Phil Narrow. Vinny Appice. Tears Are Fallen. Bruce Boulier. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's it.
Rock and Roll All Night. John Regan's on that one. Shandy. I don't know these guys, but Matt Stars on drums. Danny Love and Scott Griffin. I think that's a lot of LA Guns guys again. Bonus track Beth by Chris Van Dahl and Scott Griffin. Bonus track Beth by Phil Narrow. And that doesn't even get into all the other stuff on the EP.
Wow.
So there's a ton of essential stuff here.
Yeah, I have to hunt that down for sure.
I just went totally off script on the Brighton Rock, but that deserves it. That CD. Yeah. Brighton Rock did one final release in 2019, an iTunes track called End of Time, which give it a listen. It's on YouTube as well, but without a physical product, I can't show you. And then, of course, we both know what happened next was Gerry McGhee passed in 2020. Early into the pandemic, actually, but he passed away from cancer. And we didn't know that he'd been fighting a battle with cancer. And 2 weeks after Gerry died, I was honored enough to talk to Greg Fraser from Brighton Rock. It was sad talking to Greg only 2 weeks after Gerry died, but Greg was gracious enough to come onto the show regardless of his loss. And we talked about this band. His follow-up band to the Phrase Gang, Storm Force, which is very much in the vein of Brighton Rock. And
Yes.
I know Len and I, we both highly endorse this as the spiritual successor to Brighton Rock.
Yes.
Japanese bonus track is a song called Weight of the World, which you can also get on iTunes.
Nice.
But yeah, do check out
You're
Greg.
not opening that one, are you?
It is open.
Oh.
See, this is how this is how I keep my Obi strips intact.
Very cool.
I actually have a post about this coming, about how to maintain your packaging, but that's a whole other thing. There you go. The successor to Brighton Rock is here in spirit, and it is Storm Force featuring the amazing Patrick Gagliardi on lead vocals, who
recommend it.
Miraculously, this guy has a scream too, and I would think that these guys do Brighton Rock songs very well live. So there you go. That's the complete Brighton Rock discography with Mike and Len Labelle. Well, thank you so much, Len. You want to do this again sometime?
Yes, I would love that. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Well, thank you so much.
Right.
I'm not sure when this is going to post, but this will be going up soon on the YouTubes, and we thank you for watching. Cheers!
See ya.